We start in a maximum security prison where a man is being thrown into solitary, beaten down by guards, treated like the worst inmate alive. But then he calmly tells the warden exactly how he's going to escape, walks him through the blind spots in the camera system, the timing of the guard rotations, all of it. And then he actually does escape easily like it was nothing. Turns out this guy, Ray Breslin, isn't a prisoner at all. He's a security expert who gets paid to break into prisons as an inmate just to expose their flaws. It's basically his job to find every weakness in the system, and he's really, really good at it. After that opening flex, Ray meets with his business partners, Hush and Abigail, to go over how the job went and plan the next one. We get a sense of how this operation works. Ray voluntarily gets locked up, finds the exit, and the prison either fixes the flaws or loses its contract. It's a slick little life he's built, dangerous but controlled, and he's clearly the best in the world at this. Then Ray gets approached by a CIA agent named Lester Clark with an offer for a new job, a black site prison, off the books for the worst of the worst, the kind of place that officially doesn't exist. It pays huge, and against the advice of his team, Ray takes it. This is the moment where you just know things are about to go very wrong, because the whole premise of Ray's job depends on there being rules, and a facility that doesn't officially exist doesn't really have to follow any. Ray wakes up in the prison itself, no idea how he got there, no contact with his team, and that's when he realizes this isn't a job, it's a trap. The prison, called the Tomb, is this insane glass and steel structure designed like a giant fish tank, watched constantly, run by a warden named Hobbs who is just dripping with smug menace. And here's the gut punch. Ray slowly figures out that his own partner, Lester Clark, the guy who hired him, set him up. Clark wants Ray dead because Ray has information that could expose something Clark did years ago, and locking him in an inescapable prison under a fake identity is basically the perfect murder. While processing all this, Ray meets another inmate named Emil Rotmeyer, who claims he's innocent, just a guy who got caught up in something bigger than him. Ray, understandably, doesn't trust anyone at this point, especially someone this calm and friendly in a place this brutal. But Rotmeyer keeps trying to get close to him, offering help, hinting that he knows more than he's letting on. What I find genuinely fun about this stretch of the movie is watching Ray do his thing even while terrified, because escaping is literally his entire skill set, so even in a place built specifically to be inescapable, he can't stop himself from cataloging exits, weaknesses, patterns. He starts mapping the place in his head almost on instinct, counting steps, watching guard shifts, all while trying to keep a low profile so Hobbs doesn't realize how dangerous he actually is. Back on the outside, Ray's team realizes something's wrong when he goes dark and doesn't check in. Abigail and Hush start digging, trying to figure out where he disappeared to, but since the prison doesn't officially exist, there's basically no trail to follow. This becomes its own little side mission, the team racing against time on the outside while Ray is stuck inside with zero backup. Inside, Ray starts forming a real alliance with Rotmeyer, and they bring in a few other inmates too, including a hacker who can help with the tech side of things once they figure out how the facility systems work. There's also a doctor inside, Dr. Kyrie, who Ray suspects might be willing to help, since she seems uncomfortable with how the place is run, though she's understandably terrified of Hobbs. The tension with Hobbs ramps up steadily. He's the kind of villain who doesn't even need to yell, he's polite and almost soft-spoken, which somehow makes him scarier, because you get the sense he genuinely doesn't see the prisoners as people. There's a brutal sequence where Ray gets thrown into an isolation cell that's basically a furnace, glass walls heating up under direct sunlight, just to break him down. It's one of those moments that really sells how far this place will go. There's no pretending this is humane. Eventually Ray pieces together enough of the facility's layout and figures out the one flaw, because there's always one. The prison structure includes old shipping containers stacked together, and beneath the facility there's a way to access the ship's original hull, since the whole place is built on what used to be a cargo vessel. If they can get down there and breach the hull at the right point, they can flood part of the lower levels just enough to create chaos and a way out, without drowning everyone in the process. It's a classic Ray Breslin plan, technical, precise, and dependent on absolutely everything going right. Of course, things don't go perfectly. Hobbs gets wind that something's being planned, security tightens, and the prisoners have to move faster than they wanted to. There's a great moment where Rotmeyer's true identity finally gets revealed. Turns out he's connected to a much bigger operation than Ray realized, basically confirming he was telling the truth about being more than just some random inmate, and that revelation ends up being important for how the final breakout plays out. The escape sequence itself is just relentless. Guards everywhere, the hull breach causing actual flooding, prisoners fighting their way through corridors, and Ray and Rotmeyer working together like they've been doing this for years even though they only met inside. Hobbs, to his credit as a villain, doesn't just sit back, he gets directly involved trying to stop them, and there's a satisfying physical confrontation between him and Ray that feels earned after all the smug menace earlier in the film. Meanwhile, Ray's outside team finally tracks down the location of the prison and shows up just in time to help extract everyone once they actually make it out, which is one of those movie-perfect timing moments. But honestly, after everything Ray's been through, you're rooting for it so hard you don't even care that it's convenient. After the escape, Ray goes after Lester Clark, the partner who set him up in the first place. This part of the film is much more grounded, no more giant glass prison, just Ray confronting the man who tried to have him disappeared forever. The confrontation is quick and honestly pretty cold. Ray doesn't monologue about betrayal or anything, he just handles it, which fits his character. He's not an emotional guy, he's a guy who solves problems, and Clark was a problem. The film wraps up with Ray back to his normal life, except now Rotmeyer's joined his team, which makes sense given everything they went through together. It's a pretty clean ending, no loose threads, just two guys who survived something insane together and decided to keep working together. Honestly, what makes this movie work for me isn't really the plot, which is pretty simple once you break it down. Guy gets set up, guy escapes, guy gets revenge. It's the execution. Watching someone whose entire identity is, I can get out of anywhere, get dropped into a place specifically designed to prove that wrong is just a great hook, and the film commits to that idea the whole way through. Plus you get two action legends going toe-to-toe, which honestly is just satisfying on a pure popcorn level regardless of plot mechanics. That's Escape Plan broken down for you. Let me know what you thought, especially about that whole, the prison is literally an old ship reveal, because that's such a fun bit of world building for what's otherwise a pretty grounded action movie. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.